One thing that I really appreciate is you putting up with all the weird shenanigans that we do here on Zanza, including surprise things where you have to try to go through and do something unprepared. So today, John is going to tell us a Bible story, but he's going to do it based only on pictures. And so what I did is I went online and I found Christians are always looking to do something as a ministry to spread the good word. And they want to do it for free sometimes because, then it takes off the barrier of having to go pay for your kid's book. And they do this with absolutely in spite of the lack of quality or level of quality or whatever. So you end up with some pretty weird looking stuff if you search the internet enough. So I went and I found a place that produced some Bible stories. They look not fantastic, as in like some weirdo drew freaky looking people on MS Paint. And so
dark matter.
Yeah. So I went through, or you're thinking of shoot. All right, I'm
DarkMatter2525.
Oh, I thought the real MS Paint guy was guy came before him. How am I not knowing his? The Australian guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he did the stick figures.
Yeah. Holy cow. How am I?
Oh man.
NonStampCollector, not stamp collector.
NonStampCollector. That's right.
Yeah.
I was about to, because I know the video, one video I've always wanted to make is like kind of like a me and Brocephus version of the Bible quiz show. I don't know if you've seen the Bible quiz show that NonStampCollector did, but I've always wanted to do one where it's me and Brocephus, and I had started writing like a script for it. It got really complicated, and then other stuff came up, so I just never finished it. But it's in my vault.
Yeah, NonStampCollector is a really cool guy, and his stuff is one of the best writers I think in YouTube. Even though his stuff does look like MS Paint-ish, partly as a stylistic choice, I think. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that one of the inside jokes I think with DarkMatter2525 is that he uses MS Paint for all of his animations and stuff. I don't know if he does or not, but
gotcha. All right, so here's page one. So every time we come up on a page, just tell us what you think's going on and make it as entertaining or not, or funny or not, or whatever as you want to. It's all up to you.
Okay. So, okay, just coming up with it off the top of my head. What we have here is Gerald and his son, Sam. His son looks upon the ground and probably sees a huge pile of shit, and he's like about to point it out to his dad. But his dad, Gerald, is looking up into the sky so that he can try to find God, because that motherfucker owes him $5.
It's interesting he made them father and son. Do you think they're doing covenant eyes together?
Okay, so Gerald, yes, good to point out, because this is Gerald. He's coming in to check on his son to make sure he's not masturbating during the middle of the night. This is like that 3 a.m. thing. This is the precursor to covenant eyes. He's just like, hey, are you masturbating? And and his son Sam is like, I'm sleeping.
This is getting off track a little bit, but by the way, you can see the pile of shit they're looking at just outside the tent.
Yeah, see, look, that's the pile of shit. I mean, I'm sure it was like a donkey or a jackass or something that was like, laid it.
You know everything ahead of time. Have you read this story before? He's like, his dad says, I know you have a heart on. Not today, Satan. It's funny what you were saying about how they try catching people before covenant eyes. I watched Knowing Better. He did a video about early vegetarian movements, and they were large. One of the points of the movement was to avoid masturbation, and so they would give parents tools for how to like quickly go into your kid's room and see signs that they were trying to do anything and hide it. Like it's kind of creepy. Anyway,
is there a crusty sock on the floor? He was probably using it to masturbate. All right, so this is Gerald with his family. His son stayed home to masturbate, I guess, and they're making a pilgrimage to the land of milk and honey, I guess. I'm guessing the sun rays. Here's a good question, which I'm guessing this is what Gerald is thinking there, because you see he's got kind of a squinty eye kind of going on there. And that's, maybe his son Sam's right next to him. I think I remember this from the previous thing. Anyways, why is the sunlight like stopping in the middle of the frame there? Like, I don't understand why it's stopping. Like, it just looks like the light is just slowly traveling because God has affected physics in that particular area of the world. But so it's Gerald and Sam. Maybe that's not his son. Maybe that's his wife. So we got Jerry and his wife Hilda, and they knocked on the neighbor's door, and they're like, "Hey, come on, we're going to the market in the land of milk and honey." And they're like, "Oh shit, I need to get pork chops." And they're like, the husband's like, "We're Jewish. What the fuck are you talking about? We can't." And she's like, "Oh, well, I still need to get some shit from the market anyway." So, I mean, he's like, "God damn it." And, now they're having to go to the market, and they're bringing their jackass along with them.
It looks like maybe if that is his son, he made him bag up his crusty socks or something to go. Maybe they're going to go throw him in the nuclear explosion or something.
Maybe. Okay. Well, now I guess they needed some wood while they're on their way. And
his son didn't have enough wood already?
Yeah, his son didn't have enough wood. I mean, they had to break off some more wood. So I don't know exactly what's happening here, because like he's got his hand on a handle, and I'm not sure what kind of tool that would be, but apparently he's like, "Fuck, I need some wood." And so he somehow got logs. Like, he doesn't have an axe or anything. He's having to chop it with a hammer, but he somehow has logs. And I guess maybe God manifested the logs, and he's like, "Look, I've went halfway. You need to figure out how to chop them in half." And he's like, "Oh, well, let me pick up this fucking rock, and I've got this little hammer here." And then that's how he apparently cuts logs.
Yeah, I love how neatly cut they are, but then he's using these incredibly crude tools to split them. Mm-hmm. And I live in Alaska, I've split my share of wood. And if you've ever split wood, you know that that's not the way to do it. You're not getting nearly good enough swing on that. And that is a very poorly drawn tool, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So apparently the trip to the market is taking all night. And the neighbor wife and husband, I mean, they're having a quick little spat, and as she's feeding the jackass. Because obviously the guy was like, "I thought this was going to take 5 minutes." And she's like, "Well, I can't control how fast we walk." And then the Jerry and his wife Hilda are just like, "Oh, fuck, did we have to bring them?" And they're continuing on. But, this is after the neatly cut logs have been, obliterated by that rock. And somehow they managed to make fire. I'm guessing probably with the rock that they used and maybe some flint. I'm not sure what they used to like make kindling or whatnot. Maybe they what probably happened is he's like, "Look, it's taking all night. Hilda, cut off a piece of your cloak there, and then we'll light it on fire. And that'll keep the coyotes at bay during the night." I don't know if there's coyotes in this area of the world, but let's just say there's coyotes. There's coyotes out here, and we just need the fire to keep them away. And so they're continuing on, trucking through the night, but the two neighbor people are constantly bitching behind them. Jerry's very upset.
I think I've noticed what looks like a continuity error. They had logs like this, this like short little tiny logs, and they're splitting them, and now they have big long poles, which I find a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know where they got 2x4s from. Like, he wasn't making 2x4s. Also, why is it that the woman? I'm assuming that's his wife now, not his son. But the wife is having to carry like, what is that, like 8 between 8 or 10 like 2x4s, and like Jerry's just like, I've got the light. That's all that I have, and that's all I'm willing to commit to this fucking trip.
Guess he's just not a gentleman. I don't know why these little weird details get my attention. I get obsessed over them. There's all this nice green field, which I would assume is like fertile and soil and everything. And this tree just plants itself right dead in the middle of a rock.
Yeah, that's a good point. That didn't even register with me for some reason. Like, why is there a tree in the middle of a rock? Like, not just like there's a tree grow there's rocks around the tree, but it's like the tree is firmly planted into the rock, not like soil or anything, yeah. But it's just like that tree is just like, I'm going to grow here no matter what. Okay.
Great artistic choice.
You see, at this point, I know that look. Okay. Jerry accidentally looked inappropriately at the neighbor wife. And then Hilda is like, I saw you. You was looking at her ankles. And so now Jerry's having to build his own grave because he knows that his wife Hilda is about to like fuck him up. Oh shit. This took a dark turn quick. I can just imagine it now. This is a paint me like one of your sacrifice victims. So I know what this is now. This is Isaac, and he's just been uncomfortably convinced to be the sacrifice for God. And Abraham is like, I'm sorry, son, I'm having to do this because you broke the covenant, eyes. I saw you masturbating last night. Look at his face. His face is like, I don't know about this, but I trust my dad. This doesn't seem right, Dad. This isn't the kind of BDSM I'm into. And all the while, Abraham's like, you want to jerk off? I'll make you jerk off. And then he ties his arms behind his back like, can you jerk off now?
Oh, dear. Well, extreme behavior calls for extreme measures.
For some reason, God decided to stick his dick in the picture as Abraham is about to just totally sacrifice his son. And for some reason, it's got a weird sparkle on it. Like normally the sparkles are like evenly linked, because that's how, it typically works. But you've got this one jackass ray of light there that's just like super glinting off of it. But anyways, so, God's sitting back there with his dick out, I guess, taunting Isaac like, I can have my dick out and do whatever I want, but you're getting killed for it. And, obviously Isaac's down there like, oh, Dad, no, I didn't finish.
So you think those clouds up there look like God sticking his dick into the picture?
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, it's a weird dick, but I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if you look at the perspective right, maybe he cut Isaac's off so he couldn't do it again, and it's flying toward us. It's not up in the air, but it's like flying toward the viewer.
So it's like, oh, you want to masturbate? And then like he sliced the dick off with such ferocity that it just whoosh flies off of him, like on the way other side of him. Also, that's a moldy dick. Like, I don't know what in the fuck he was doing to his dick, but like that's way too wrinkly there.
And that is the end of our story.
The end.
The end.
Fiend.
Well done. Well done. That was a great telling of the story. So that is the story of, what is it? Not Abraham and Isaac, but Gerald and
Sam.
Gerald and Sam.
Oh, and the one where Gerald is like looking down and Sam is standing right there. So that wasn't what I thought it was. It was more along the lines of, Dad, you just asked me to fucking what?
Is it this one or
not that one? The one where Sam is like looking at this one right here. And yeah, Gerald just said, I need you to get on the pyre so I can sacrifice you for our Lord. And Sam's just like, the fuck did you just say, Dad? I think fucking not. And then the next picture is Sam waking up and realizing that he's just been put on the pyre, even though he said no. Like that one. It's like, I said no, Dad. Fuck.
You tricked me. One thing I just love about this is the expressions on their faces. I think someone said that Gerald looks high at some point. The way they try to draw emotions, like this one, whatever resting type of face that is on Sam's face right there.
It's definitely resting bitch face. I mean,
oh dear. So, unless you have any further comment about the story of Gerald and Sam, by the way, I think you need to make you have a loaded enough channel as it is, by the way. And by the way, everyone, go watch Godless Engineer if you haven't checked him out. I'm sure you all have, but you have a very loaded show schedule. But I think you should at least consider throwing in there something where you should write your own version of these Bible stories and then just read them for your audience, because your performances of these things are just great.
Yeah, that's good.
You bested me at the I'm struggling with it story, and then you really nailed telling the story of Gerald and Sam.
I mean, I do it all the time with KC. We'll see something like that doesn't have sound or something like that, and I'll just make up a story, and it always cracks her up. So,